Okay.
There's a reason why for the last 13 years, startups overwhelmingly prefer to build on top of AWS. We have the largest number of services, making it easy for you to take on some of the biggest challenges with the smallest teams. We also have partnerships with the top VCs, accelerators, and incubators around the world, making it easier to secure your next round of funding.
I'm a solution architect with the AWS Head Start program. What we do is we work with startups in the education sector, and we help them build their services on AWS.
So We Power Tech is AWS's Diversity and Inclusion Outreach program. The program is really twofold. One is to increase the number of underrepresented technologists within the industry, and the second is to provide a platform for them to be seen and heard.
If you're wondering how the AWS evangelism team might be able to help your startup, there are many ways. We're technically credible across our entire catalog of products, so we can help you figure out which services might be able to meaningfully impact your business. We also want to help tell your story. So if you're building something cool, we want to know about it and help spread that message to the world. So you might end up on stage at an event like AWS Summit. If you're a startup, you should also definitely check out the AWS Lofts. These are event spaces that are free to anyone with an AWS account, and you can treat them like co-working spaces. But the awesome thing about them is that we also have people like technical evangelists like myself, solutions architects that come and give hands-on technical workshops and sessions to help you learn how to more effectively utilize the AWS products and platforms that you're already building on top of.
We are a dedicated team of people that love startups. We just want to come and help you with whatever we can, whether it be technical or business focused. We are here to help guide you and make sure that you do have a say in what's going on. We do get your feedback. We do bring that feedback to the service teams. That is what we're here for.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome to Startup Grind Asaba. We host thousands of events globally every year, but more than that, Startup Grind is a community. We bring like-minded yet diverse individuals together to learn, to teach, to help, to build, and to connect. This month on our AWS presented events, we are hosting Abiodun and Anani, who will be exploring with me together how to digitally position our brand for effective business growth. Thank you so much, Abiodun and Anani, for being here with us. All right, so we've hosted you before, and we're hosting you again. We can't just get enough, honestly speaking. We can't get enough.
Thank you.
So may we know, oh, great. Who is Abiodun and Anani? Who are you?
Okay, thank you so much. Good to be here, to be back to Startup Grind again. Okay, so Abiodun Anani is a marketing strategist with over 9 years of experience in cross-cultural marketing. I actually started my career at Oracle Experience Limited, which is an experiential marketing, where I hosted several product launch and product demonstration. So that's some little things about Abiodun Anani.
Okay, beyond work now, beyond work. Who is Abiodun on the ground, like personally?
Wow. Okay, so beyond work, Abiodun Anani is someone who likes to relax. Yes, I love to relax a lot, and I also love to hang out. I love to sleep. Yes, wow. I try not to joke with my weekends.
Great. All right, so how did you venture into becoming a marketing strategist in the first place? How did your journey start? Because I know you didn't just jump into Oracle. What were the decisions you made in your life that informed that progression in your career?
Okay, so I get this kind of questions all the time. And the reason why I get these questions is because I have a background in accounting. So people tend to ask me, how do you integrate accounting and marketing together? How do you switch? So it's actually, so I love to tell them that the reason why I actually switched from accounting to market, I've always loved to be a marketer. Even right before I went to school, doing some little things for my parents, trying to say, why not do it this way? My mom used to have a business, or why not you do it this way? The way I attend to customers, when they come, they say, no, I want your daughter to talk to me. Things like that. It has always been something I've loved to do from start. So when I got the offer to work at Oracle, I actually sent my CV for an accounting position. So I didn't get it. They told me there was no offer. So I told them, which other position do you have? They said market. Say, can you do market? I said, I can do it. I started saying things, as a young girl, I can do this, I can do that. So that was how I found passion in in marketing. So, but beyond that, I was doing extremely well. It got to a point they kept asking me, would you like to move to, we have a space now in the accounting department. Would you love to move to finance and all that? I said, no, this is what I've always loved to do from start. So that was how I moved purely into marketing.
Interesting to note that your story, or the story of your journey, is not just the only unique one. Because the majority of us Nigerians, we study one thing in school and then we find our passion in another field. It's great, it's great. So when we hear the term marketing strategies, what does a marketing strategist do in a business and in a startup, for instance? I know you work with a lot of startups. What significance is your function as a marketing strategist in the business?
Okay, you know, a lot of startups, when you start a business, one thing that comes to majority minds are they want to start selling. You want to start making money. You have the mind that you've invested so much money into this business and you want to start making money immediately. But it doesn't actually work that way. It doesn't work that way. So what a marketing strategist will help you do is to help you align your goal, your objectives, and what you intend to achieve. That is what a marketing strategist will help you do. Beyond that, a marketing strategist, because of an in-depth knowledge of businesses, would help you conduct a research. You know, research is very, very important in businesses. And this is why most people miss it along the line. They don't do research. Once they start their business, they want to get people buying it and they want to start advertising. You see a lot of people throwing out money for campaigns and all that. But after a while, they don't get the results they desire. They come back to us and say, oh, I've actually run this campaign. I'm not getting results. What is happening? So a marketing strategist will help you develop a marketing plan or a brand or a strategy plan to help you achieve those goals.
I do understand and I appreciate the fact that you mentioned goals and objectives in reference to what the marketing strategies help the entrepreneur to achieve in their business. Okay, so given your experience working with startups and a lot of entrepreneurs, what are some of those misconceptions that you have come across on your own experience, on your experience, when it comes to branding and digitally positioning the business? Now, it is a digital economy, as it were. A lot of businesses are capitalizing upon the influence and the power of the social media and various other forms of technology that are available to us now. So what are some of those myths that you come across, or some of those things that are not just working for us regard to branding?
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So from my experiences in life and with the various startup companies I've worked with and met, and I'm still working with currently, the most misconception is that branding is about your logo and your tagline. Once you have a good logo, you see a startup telling you that when you ask them about their branding or strategies, oh, you need to come and see my logo. I have a very good logo. It's looking fine.
Exactly.
The color is nice. Look at my tagline. Then you ask, is that your branding? Then the next thing they tell you is, I'm now on social media. I'm on Facebook. Some of them will say I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, or I'm on Instagram. And that's what their understanding about branding. But branding is beyond your logo and your tagline.
Okay.
Branding, the only thing your logo and your tagline is only going to do is to tell them that this is your name.
All right.
Because you're not going to be there all the time to tell you that the name of my brand is Abiodun Anani. But when they see my logo, they can say, oh, this brand name is Abiodun Anani. But branding is beyond that. Branding is who you are, is who Abiodun tells you she is. That is branding. So how do you convey these things to your audience without you being there? Because you're definitely not going to be there to tell them about who you are. So branding are those acts, those things you do, how you want people to recognize you, the same person you are, how you convey yourself is branding. That is the same way we have personal branding in human. Beyond the company branding, we have personal branding. The person you are, what you want your consumers to tell others about you is branding. So it's actually beyond your logo and your timeline.
Okay, that's interesting because majority of people just go to Canva and then maybe designer and just design something, and then for them, well, I have a good brand. But now you're making us understand that that is just an aspect of branding. But there's something on the inside. So that is what I really actually want us to explore today. You'll be speaking with entrepreneurs who are just starting off in their journey as entrepreneurs, those that are already having tractions and generating tractions for their business, and those that are quite established in the business. So what is branding? What is this elusive it's not graphic work or templates or anything. So what is branding actually? What is it? How can we define it? And what is the essence of branding?
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So I will be sharing some practical tips on branding, some of the things that have worked for me in the past that are still working for me. I've been privileged to work with some startup companies and some multinational companies. And I will tell you that, like I said earlier, branding is beyond your logo and your tagline. Branding is who you are. So there's something, Mark Twain says something. He said there is no such thing as a new idea. The idea you're coming up with is not definite, is not going to be new. So there is something you need to do that will distinct between you and the other person that is doing the same thing you're doing. And that is where the competition comes up. So if you're starting your business newly, you need to understand your purpose. What exactly, why am I going into this business? That is the first place to start. And that is why a lot of people miss it. Because yes, we get a lot of people who just want to see what other people are doing. They felt this people, there's a business, there is money in this business. They can generate a lot of money from this business. So they want to go into it as well. There is no problem with that. But you need to find your own purpose, because it is with your own purpose you can achieve your own aims. So you need to, the first thing you need to do is to define that puzzle. What is the purpose? What is the essence of going into this business? What do I want to achieve? What value do I want to create? Those are the first thing you need to do. Then after doing that, then you can then I also want to mention this. You need to understand that there's a difference between marketing and branding, because a lot of people don't really understand the differences between marketing and branding. I want you to know, branding, like I said, is an art, is who you are. How you convey who you are is marketing. Oh, I want to tell people who I am. I'm using LinkedIn to share some tips. That is the tactics in branding. So it is marketing. They work hand in hand. They are not the same thing. Marketing is how you convey who you are to the audience. So that is branding. That is what branding and marketing is all about. So you don't mix it up. So the first thing is to find your purpose. Know the exact reason why you are going into this business. The second thing you do is to do a research. Research is very, very important. We get a lot of people, they just they just make it slide. They don't do research. They just go to their competitors' page and say, oh, they post like this. This is how they come down. This is how they post. This is the way their design looks. They have a reason why they are doing that, and they know what they want to achieve. What is your own purpose? What do you want to achieve? You need to do it your own way. Who are your market audience? You need to do this research and understand these things. You need to evaluate them and know what is going to work for you. Those are the steps you need to take first when you are going into branding. Then the next thing you need to do after doing your research, you need to understand your competitors. Because if you go into the store and you go on a shelf, you're definitely not going to see your own products, and you are definitely not going to be there. So how do people differentiate your products and the other products? Why do they need to choose you? Why do they need to pick your own product? So that is where branding begins to come in play. That is how you begin to convey your messages to your audience out there without being the representative trying to say, oh, can you buy from me? Because that's not going to be happening all the time. That's where your brand needs to speak for itself. So this is how the information you pass out there, the message is your branding. You need to convey your message. And also as a startup in the middle, when you are starting out newly, make sure that everything, your journey, make sure that your journey is out there. How you begin, how you move. We all have our humble beginnings. Don't be scared that, don't think that, oh, people feel that, oh, you're just starting newly, you are new in the market. No, you don't need to do that. Just make sure that you continue to let people see your journey. When we look at these multinational companies, you notice that even some of them that they are about 50 years old, we can read their stories. We can go back and say, this is how they started. This is how they begin to proceed. And this is how they start making or start being successful. You need to put out your information out there. And also the idea of going on social media is very, very good, which is part of digital marketing. You know, everybody's talking about digital marketing now. It has moved beyond the traditional way of marketing, whereby you need to start going from places, you need to start going out to talk to people one-on-one. And the difference is that when you're going out for marketing, in the traditional way, the old ways we do marketing, you can only meet one person at a time, which means that you might necessarily not focus too much on your branding because you're going to meet 1 or 5 people at a time. But for branding and social media marketing or digital marketing, you can reach a larger audience, a larger wide range of audience at a point. You can send your message across to several platforms and reach probably 1,000 or 10,000, even 100,000 of people at a go. Which is why your branding needs to be on point. Because if you're sending a message out there, you need to be very, very careful with your branding. You are not going to be there to tell them that, because it is what you send to them, that is what they are going to believe. That is what they are going to say, oh, this is Abiodun Anani, and this is what she told us that she is. So you need to be careful on how you portray your messages out there, because your message tells them who you are and what you do, or what they are expecting from you, or the value you are going to create. So you need to be very careful when you are conveying these messages about that. So the next thing I also want to discuss with you is to have a clearer picture of what you want to do. Make sure that your message is very, very clear. Don't try to copy too much. There are ways you can try to get things from your competitor and integrate it into what you do. So you need to be very, very careful when you're doing that. So I'll go back to social media, because a lot of people will tell you, I'm already on social media, I'm posting. No, it's beyond that. And it also drives you back to research. You see your competitors and your audience, your customers you're looking at, they have where they hang out. You see some people on LinkedIn, they send me a message because of the content, the kind of content I throw out there, and say they're not making sales. By the time I do a research and find out what their business is all about, I tell them, your business is, your audiences or your customers are not on LinkedIn, they're actually on Facebook. Some of them, their customers are, or their prospects are on LinkedIn, or they are on Instagram. So you need to understand this thing, and you need to be able to, you need to test what is going to work for you. You need to test them to understand what exactly is going to. You see some people, they've wasted about a year on a wrong platform. No, wow. That's very, very wrong. Yes, they spend a lot of time. They just tell you they are not making sales, they are not converting. They have in fact, some of them have a very good message, but that message is not catchy enough, because the kind of people that are meant to consume that message, they are not on that platform. So it is very, very good when setting out. Make sure you test your hypothesis, test your results, check them. Oh, this week I'm going to be focusing on this platform. It doesn't mean that you're going to turn out the other platforms entirely. No, you're not going to do that. You just have to test them and know what works best for you, so that you can put in more effort on that line. So those are like the first thing that you need to do when starting out your branding. Like I said, don't forget the message. Make sure that your core messages are out there. Let them know what exactly are you trying to do? What value are you trying to create? It is very, very important when setting out as a startup, because working with startups, you hear different issues. Sometimes the startups give their branding to social media marketers or social media managers. It is fine, you can do that. But as a startup, it's very important for you to pay attention to whatever you are going to do. You need to create time. As much as you want to hand over maybe your branding or your marketing or your social media to a social media manager or somebody to handle for you, you need to work hand in hand with these people. Because if they don't understand your message, if they don't understand your tone, because we have a tone in branding. There's a way I talk, there's a way you talk. So you need to understand those tones. If you've been sending out your messages in a particular tone, which is the branding tone, your voice, and you bring in someone to continue doing that, and the person is using another tone, there's going to be discrepancies in the kind of information they'll start consuming. You know, people start thinking, you know, when you say things online, you'll be like, oh, is anybody watching? Is anybody seeing this? But people are actually seeing what you're doing, and they can deduce from what you're doing and say, oh, this is what this brand is all about. You know, beyond this, we have a lot of brands that we patronize, and we can say, oh, this brand is this brand is that. This is what we say behind. This is about them. They didn't tell us to tell them about, they didn't inform us to tell people about these things. But it is the message they are sending to us. And we can all say, and you find out that 5-10 people will be saying the same thing about a particular brand. I could remember there was a time I was using a particular detergent, and I found out that after a while, it wasn't that effective. And so I went to the store and I said, oh, I'm not going to get this anymore, because I feel that this thing is no more active. And even the sales representative in that store said, yeah, people have been complaining. You can imagine that kind of information. So it is beyond you saying you just want to see anything. People are not watching, or they are just using your services or your products. No, those messages and the tone you put out there is very, very important. So as a startup entrepreneur, or as a CEO, or as a business owner, make sure you work hand in hand with whoever is going to be handling your brand, at least for a start. Make sure they understand what you want to achieve. Make sure they know your goals and your objectives. Because so when they know it, they can be able to transform or integrate this into the messages they are sending out there. So these things are very, very important when you are doing that. So like I said, determine your competition. Make sure you know them very, very well. And know your market. You can't sell to everyone. It's impossible. You can't say, I can't like your product, and if I like your product, it doesn't mean that every other person is going to like your product. No, you need to be able to know the exact set of people that you want to sell to, because your competitors might be selling to multinationals. And because you feel that your competitors are selling to multinationals, you start to target multinationals. No, that is very, very wrong. You don't target multinationals. You have to cut down, you need to streamline every of the information and know exactly what you want to achieve. So it could be that your own audience or your consumers or your prospects are the small business owners. In fact, this part of branding is very, very important, because you see people targeting the wrong set of people. When you see people throwing ads in nairas or in dollars on maybe Facebook or LinkedIn, they start targeting wrong set of people and they don't get responses. Sometimes they just tell me, these people have sent a mail, they said they will get back to me. You see their mail tray with so many getting back to me, and it's not converting. The reason is that they are targeting the wrong set of people. Like I said, don't be afraid to start where you are. Send out your message. There's a market for everybody. There is a market for everybody. Don't be afraid of setting out. Just go ahead. Make sure as you go on social media, share your journey, let people go, because one thing with consumers or customers or prospects, they want to grow with you. You see people like I could remember my mom would say, oh, when you guys were very young, we're using this particular type of cereal for you. And when you were growing up, in fact, they tell us as we grow older, and some of my siblings, when they got married, and say, oh, if you're going to be using this is the kind of cereal you should be using. You can say that my mom or people who use this particular product, they grow with them. So customers want to say, when they started newly, we were with them, we're patronizing them, now they've upgraded and all that. So they want to be in your journey, they want to be in the picture, and they want to share in your story.
Wow, it's exciting. It's exciting, all the things you're sharing. And I'm learning so much from you. You've mentioned quite a number of things, but I just want to point out some of the things that you mentioned, so for clarity. Now, you mentioned that marketing is different from branding. I would like you to throw more light on that for the audience to better understand what you actually mean by that. And again, the next question will be, one of the disconnect that I perceive is that these entrepreneurs or the startup are not getting the adequate feedback on what it is that they are projecting. Okay, so is there a system where the feedback can be analyzed, or where they can be aware, entrepreneurs can be aware of the feedback and be able to monitor their progress branding wise?
Okay, so feedback is very important in business. So when you are setting out newly, I talked about earlier, I said you need to test whatever you're going to do. You can test your product or services with your friends, with your family members, or even with your prospect or customers. So don't just try to start selling immediately. No, don't just say, oh, you want to start, because every business owner wants to start making money immediately they go into their businesses. They want to start, oh, I've invested money. Money needs to, when they talk to some of us as maybe salespeople or marketing or branding people, they tell you that, I started 3 months ago. I want money. This thing takes time. It takes time to build your brand. Just like it takes time for us to grow. That is the same way it is applicable to your brand. You need to give it time. You need to give it time and make sure that people get feedback from what people are going to say about your product. So as you send out your information, sit down and gather feedback. Now most of the channels we use are social media. And now beyond social media, people use several tools like MailChimp or SendGrid for social media marketing. And what they basically do is to put in the information or the content and send it out there, maybe designs or infographics. Is beyond that. So when you use these tools to send out your content or your designs or infographics, make sure you engage with your audience. That is one of the best ways to get feedbacks, engagement. You need to engage and know what they're saying. You see some businesses, when you send them a message, they don't respond maybe after 2 weeks. That is very, very bad. Poor customer service. So as you're setting out newly, make sure you are there. You need to give in your time. Put in your time as you begin to grow your brand. Put in time and say, oh, you want to get feedback. You can do a survey. There are several ways to get feedbacks from people. You need to do a survey, but the most easiest way we advise people is to use people that are closer to you, that can tell you, oh, when I tested this, I didn't get the results I wanted, or it's different from this, or I expected this, or I didn't get that. So those are the things that you need to do to get your feedback. Then when it comes to like the first question you asked about branding and marketing, you see a lot of people still mix it up. They feel that when I have a good design and say, oh, Abiodun Anani is this, and you give it to a very good graphic artist to design for you, and boom, you drop it on social media, and your page is looking all nice. You know, when I go on social media for some startups, you see that they would have posted about 100 designs. The page will be looking very nice and all that. You say, oh, the only compliment you'll be getting is you have a very good graphic design. But it's not converting, it's not bringing sales. You understand? The designs are just there. So it's actually beyond that. So those tactics you use to send out those designs, the message you include to send out those designs are your marketing. So the information of who you are or what your business is all about or your products or services is branding. Looking very nice, your message, your tone, those core messages or your statements. Those are branding. Then how you send out your mail. Okay, so I can decide to even send mails out. Those are marketing tactics. You can decide to use, send mails. Those are marketing. They are not branding. You see what I included in my mail, the way I included it, the message, my signature, or my tone, or the attachment in that mail is your branding.
Wow.
That is your branding. You see then the tools I use in sending it out is a marketing tool. So it's different. So when you just come up and say, oh, then my mail is ready, you just put in your design, you just put in your message and you send out. If you don't send out the right message, it is going to affect your brand. That message in that mail is your branding. The way your signature looks in that mail is your branding. So, branding is about those little things you don't pay attention to. You see people tell you that they pay so much attention to as small as their, their signature is, their email signature. People can so fall in love with your brand because you have an email signature. Oh, they say this is a premium brand. You see a very small brand coming out very nice. Oh, and they say, oh, these people, I think they've been out for a very long time. No, they just started maybe some couple of months ago. But the way they package themselves out there, people will be like, oh, I think these people are premium. But some people will even tell you that I think this is an international brand. No, It is the way they are sending their messages. It is the way they are branding themselves. It is even beyond the way you convey it out. Like I said, how you send them, what you use in sending them, and your marketing. Even your social media, once you include you put in your information on whatever platforms you are going to sell, those tools you use are marketing. They are meant for marketing. What you include in them are your branding. So you need to understand these two things. It's beyond your designs and what maybe the tools you want to use in conveying your messages.
Awesome. Thank you, Abiodun and Anani. All right, let me just recap some of the things that you said. First of all, we need to understand our purpose when it comes to branding. And in trying to understand our purpose, we need to know the value that we're creating. Apart from the value, it takes a lot of research and a lot of work. And then we should also understand what the competitor is doing. Of course, that is also part of researching the competition. Then, most of all, you mentioned being authentic, being true to our journey, and then being progressive, such that our consumers are able to follow us through our journey. Of course, that creates some sentimental value for us that we can also explore as a capital for the business, social capital in this case for the business. Okay, and then you mentioned the importance of engaging with the audience. That's amazing. That's nice. There's also one thing I wanted to speak about. You mentioned it earlier too, but I wanted to expand it. All right. When it comes to digital marketing now, you mentioned something about customer segmentation as per brand expansion on different social media channels. How can one how can one understand which platform to really focus on? And beyond that, how can one actually segment their business based on the clarity of what it is that they do?
Okay, so this would also drag us back to doing research. Research is very, very broad. It's very, very broad. It's beyond your competitions. Research is beyond your competition. So how do you know these things? When you go on, this is also going to take us back to me saying that you need to test whatever you're going to do, and know where your audience is, where they hang out. You need to, when you go on Instagram, you understand that Instagram is more of the fashion business. So if you're probably into consulting for maybe financial services, or you're into consulting for HR, you know you're definitely not going to be doing very well on Instagram, because Instagram is not really a professional site. You need to understand this thing. So that is where research, that is how you're going to get your information from research. And that's for that. And the next thing is, let's say for Facebook, let's say you're running ads, because a lot of people want to just run ads and reach out to a lot of people. When you're running ads, you need to understand the interest of your consumers or your prospects or your customers. You need to understand their interests, their demographics. There are things you can sell in Lagos. There are things you cannot sell in Asaba. And that is the truth. There are things that when you sell them in Lagos, people are ready because it's actually in need or in high demand. You need to understand these things. So when you are targeting maybe some locations or some interests or some age groups or age ranges, you need to understand that, oh, this particular thing I'm trying to do from research, from the past or from my competition, because sometimes you can level down your research to what your competitors are doing. You can even get information from what they are doing or from their social media or how people engage with them. You can get your information from there, because startups don't have a lot of funds to throw out there to do a lot of things. Yes, so there are ways that you can do your thing. You can do your thing and spend less, or in an affordable way. So you can also get information from your audience. So when you are doing things like that, you need to know the interest of your prospect or your consumers. You need to know their locations, their demographics. You need to know their history, their buying history. It's very important that you know their buying history. There are things that we know that, oh, let's say for iPhones, we know iPhones are high-end brands, and we expected that, oh, there are some sets of people, some age that can afford iPhones. So these are the kinds of things that you need to consider when you are setting out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abiodun and Anani. It's been awesome having you. There's one more thing that you have to expand to us about, okay? Now, when it comes to the message, you made mention of tone, okay, as the quality of the message. Are there other qualities of the messaging such that the brand is actually communicating the essence of what we want it to communicate?
Yes, the tone is very, very important. The statement. You see some brands. What a lot of startups also want to do is, they want in a sentence they want to write everything about the brand. No, because people don't really read a lot these days. No, you need to be able to carve your statements into maybe 1 or 2 lines, so that once people see it, sometimes people buy things because of maybe 1-year warranty. People buy things because they see quality on it. It's not necessary that that product is of quality, but because on that particular product, you can see that this product, maybe their tagline is, we offer maybe 100% quality or things like that. And some people buy it because of quantity. You need to know why you're going into the business. Do you want to offer quality or quantity? Because there are several businesses that are into quality and some of them are into quantity. Some of them, they are high-end brands, and some of them, they are not really expensive. So like I said, you can't sell to everybody. You need to know your market. Are you selling based on quantity or quality? So you should be able to write out this information in 1 or 2 sentences and make sure that you continue to portray it out. In every information you set out there, make sure that it goes with your information, it goes with the message. Because people are definitely not going to read everything you write, but you see the little line you're going to draw out there, that little information, people would buy it. The people will, because of that, buy from you. When you go into a store, you see a particular product, maybe you see a pen, and what you can see on that pen is, some people will even tell you, or they'll write on the particular pen, say, we've been out for 50 years. They are trying to tell you that they are not new. Yeah. And some new brands tell you that, oh, we are premium new brands from that places. Some people will even sell their brands because of it's coming from abroad. They'll write it there that is an international brand. So which means that probably that particular brand is going to be a little bit of the high side. They know their customers and they know who they are definitely going to sell to. So you need to understand all this and cut down and try not to say, oh, you want to sell to everybody. Make sure that your messages in a very, very, in a way that people can easily digest it. You should be able to do that.
Wow. Thank you so much. All right. So having worked with startups for a long time, for myself, I do realize that, and again, based on our conversation here, what is the relationship between the company brand and the entrepreneur himself or herself? Because I do believe that your company brand cannot really exceed your own personal brand. In fact, the best they can be at par. That's what I believe, though. So I would like you to expatiate on that. Okay, what is your opinion regarding that?
Okay, this is a very good question. Some days ago, I was on Rare Beds and I was talking about some unique things about social media. And what this question pops up, and the question is about personal branding and your company branding. You see, the difference is that people like to buy from who they know. They like to buy from, in fact, you see a lot of CEOs out there, they do things on their own pages so that people can have a personal relationship with them. People like to buy from people they have a relationship with. But if you're setting out, is a two-way thing. You can leverage on your brand and you can on your company brand and you can leverage on your personal brand. If you have a good personal brand or a good personal branding, like maybe probably people know Abiodun and Anani a lot. They trust me because they've been seeing me they've been seeing me for a long time, or they trust me because of what I say or what I do or how I act. Then if Abiodun and Anani is trying to maybe come up with a business or is trying to introduce something to them, they are definitely going to buy from me because they trust Abiodun and Anani, because they know my brand and I've been out for a while. And that is the positive part of growing your personal brand, which means that I'm now leveraging my personal brand for my company brand so that people can accept it. That's what. Then for your company brand, it is also important that you have a good company branding. There are a lot of companies we don't know their CEOs. But when it gets to the time when they need to say something about their CEOs, they say, oh, this is our CEO, this is the brain behind our sources. And immediately, you know the way humans react, they switch their interests or they try to integrate their interests to the business and to the CEO. So the CEO can also leverage on that business because the business is doing very well. So you can leverage on that name. So it's a two-way thing. It's very important you have a good personal brand, and it's also very important you have a good company brand. But as a startup, I would advise you have a good personal brand. Tell people what you do. Don't be shy. Even if you see a lot of people, they don't want to even tell you that this is their business because they feel that the business is not doing very well yet, because they feel that they don't have 1 million customers or 500 customers, or what would people say about them, that your business is still very small. Don't be shy, because it's what you tell people, that is what people are going to believe. If you say your business is ABC, people will believe it's ABC. If you say your business is too small, people will say, oh, she even said, or he even said the business is small. So that is why I said the message is very, very important. Don't see yourself that you are very too small. What you tell people is what people are going to believe. So you can leverage your personal brand and your company brand. You can do either way, but make sure as a startup who doesn't have a lot of funds to throw out there, you have a very good personal branding.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So as a way to round off, let's just take this question. Okay. Now I also think that in eventuality or in essence, branding is simply about social capital, either for the entrepreneur or for the business. And now it is about converting that social capital to a financial form. And that is the essence of what branding is about. Like I said earlier, you've worked with these startups for a very long time now. What would you advise when it comes to building a sustainable and efficient social capital system?
Okay, so in business, a lot of people don't know that consistency matters a lot. It's very, very important that you're consistent with your branding, because a lot of startups are not consistent with their branding, because after going out or spending a lot of money or so many time trying to build their brands in 3-4 months and they are not getting results, they just leave there and start chasing people on the phones or sending emails. No, you need to give it time. Like I said, you need to be consistent in whatever you are going to do, and that is the only way that you can achieve your aims or your objective, or that is what is going to translate into sales for you. So it is very important that you are consistent with your branding. Consistency is very key.
Thank you so much, Abiodun and Nani. It's been amazing having you on Startup Grind. Asaba event today, sponsored and presented with AWS. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
There's a reason why for the last 13 years, startups overwhelmingly prefer to build on top of AWS. We have the largest number of services, making it easy for you to take on some of the biggest challenges with the smallest teams. We also have partnerships with the top VCs, accelerators, and incubators around the world, making it easier to secure your next round of funding.
I'm a solution architect with the AWS HStart program. What we do is we work with startups in the education sector, and we help them build their services on AWS.
So We Power Tech is AWS's diversity and inclusion outreach program. The program is really twofold. One is to increase the number of underrepresented technologists within the industry, and the second is to provide a platform for them to be seen and heard.
If you're wondering how the AWS evangelism team might be able to help your startup, there are many ways. We're technically credible across our entire catalog of products, so we can help you figure out which services might be able to meaningfully impact your business. We also want to help tell your story. So if you're building something cool, we want to know about it and help spread that message to the world. So you might end up on stage at an event like AWS Summit. If you're a startup, you should also definitely check out the AWS Lofts. These are event spaces that are free to anyone with an AWS account. And you can treat them like co-working spaces, but the awesome thing about them is that we also have people like technical evangelists like myself, solutions architects that come and give hands-on technical workshops and sessions to help you learn how to more effectively utilize the AWS products and platforms that you're already building on top of.
We are a dedicated team of people that love startups, that we just want to come and help you with whatever we can, whether it be technical or business focused. We are here to help guide you and make sure that you do have a say in what's going on. We do get your feedback. We do bring that feedback to the service teams. That is what we're here for.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. This event has been presented with AWS, our partner globally. So who is AWS, by the way? AWS is short for Amazon Web Services, which is a subsidiary of Amazon. Yes, the popular Amazon. Yeah, that provides the on-demand cloud computing services and APIs for individuals, companies, governments, and a metered pay-as-you-go on a metered pay-as-you-go basis. So that is what AWS does basically. All right. So in this partnership, as a member of our community, what do you stand to gain? First of all, you can now begin to build or scale your startup with $1,000 in AWS Activate credit. All right. So beyond that, you receive help 24/7 across AWS support services. You receive advice tailored to your industry, your product stage, your business model, and your technical requirements as per what it is that you are building. Beyond all of this, you can accelerate your user adoption through the Amazon network, which includes the Amazon advertising, Amazon Marketplace, Amazon Launchpad, Amazon Alesia, and many more. Yes, you're wondering what's more. Great. Yes, you can also get tapped for an exclusive content opportunity, including being featured on AWS Startup Blogs and speaking at AWS Summit and reInvent. You don't want to miss our next event and subsequent events too. All right, so at the end of this program, I'm going to be sending a mail out with the instructions on how to participate in this partnership, actually. All right, thank you very much, Abiodun, Anani. It's good to have you. Thank you. And thank you everyone that has joined us from all over the world. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.